من میخوام سلام به همگی دوستان که رو زوم هستن، اینجا نشستن. امروز از من خواستن یه افتخاریه برای من تازه هم تو اورنج کانتی یه 10 ماه اینجا هم از سن خوزه اومدم، برای اینه لباس پولوخوری پوشیدم. گفتم اینجا هوا سرده، اینجا 80 درجه است. شمال جنوب کالیفرنیا دی و نایت فرق داره. خیلی خوشم اومده از این شهرتون و باز به من میگم یه افتخاره که جزو اجازه دادن که تو بورد آف دایرکتور باشم، امسال 2022 کار کنم با تیم. و سابقه‌مو من الان سلاید بعدی میگم، فقط یه پرزنتیشن 10 سلاید، یه 10 تا صفحه بیشتر تغییر نکردم و به انگلیسی هم اینو توضیح میدم، چون که امکان داره در آینده بره رو وبسایت یا خود من رو لینکدین و جای دیگه پروفشنال بره بیشتر هم، چون که دیگه میگیم ایرانیان امریکن پروفشنالز. از این نقطه به بعد من انگلیسی حرف میزنم، ولی فارسیم قوی تر از انگلیسیه. میتونم بعداً با هم صحبت کنیم، سوال جواب باشه، من در خدمتتون هستم. So we'll start with the project management, just a simple recap of in two folds, my experience with project management for the last over 25 years in Northern California and international, and also I'll talk a little bit about my experience, live experience with project management that may benefit the audience. So just a note, the copyright is from Project Management Institute and my own company, Homer Consulting, Inc. So if you need any information, further information, I'm here after the meeting, or also you can contact me. I'm here to help you as a volunteer, to help you in your projects. So let's go to the next slide, please. All right. So who's Homer Benjamin? I have over 25 years of portfolio program project process management experience, managing domestic, international, and cross-functional teams. It's a long statement. I tried to minimize it as much as I could, but when you've been in a field for over 25 years, you worked with different teams, multinational, all over the country and out of the country. And my strength, and I will touch on this for your benefits if you want to really get into project management or you are a project manager. The key point is tracking, communication, and relationship management. Those are the key to project management, which I'll touch on it later. So my goal is on each slide, I'll only spend an hour, like a minute, sorry. And so it's like 10 slides, 10 minutes, then I'll stop. We can always go back to the previous slides. If you have any question, I would suggest that let me finish the 10 slides in 10 minutes, and then we'll go back to your questions. I'm sure some of your question will be answered as soon as I go through the slides. And this is my contact information, email, phone number, and San Jose and South Orange County. I'm here in Laguna Niguel for the last 10 months, and I'm here to stay. The next slide, please. This is important. This I live with this. I pass this through my family, friends, in my life. A goal without a plan is just a wish. I know we all have goals. We like to fly to the moon. We like to buy a car. We like to invest. We like to start a business. We like to start a family. Anything in life, if you don't have a plan, it's only a wish. So the reason I touched on this plan, because project management is all about planning. And I'll touch on it in the next slides, but let's make sure to save that slide. So this slide is a standard business model. It's not Homer slide. Any business, right? Any standard business, you can see they have multiple elements, organization, departments, from planning organization, it goes to project management, it goes to service delivery. And I'm not going to go through details, but you can see it has planning, innovation, and operations. And then We have the pink side, the left side of the slide, the HR, finance, quality, compliance, risk, third-party management. They're all enabling your business. And then at the end, you have a monitoring and control and that's the C-level of company. They do monitor the company's planning, organization, project acquisition, and deliveries. So this is a standard model. Again, it's not my slide, but I do use it for my presentation. Next slide, please. All right, so this is important to, I pause here. So why project management? A lot of people, again, I don't know who are the audience. I know some of them here, some, I just heard the name. I listened to their introduction. Some, you may be a project manager, or you are also trying to know what is project. So I start very basic, and just so to explain what's the purpose of project management. This is to establish standards and automation for business expansion. Any business you have, a small business, multi-million-dollar business, a multinational business, it doesn't matter. You need to have standards. And in order to have standards and automation, you have to have the PM. So the project management, which I'll go to the next slides, it explains how important it is to standardize your business. Benefits, I can only touch on top 3. There are more than 3 benefits, but again, I'm trying to keep it 1 minute per slide as much as possible. So the top 3 benefits are financial cost savings, which we all care about financials. That's number 1 for all businesses. The other one is customer satisfaction. Your customer is not satisfied, I think the business is not going anywhere. So our attention, our focus is our customer satisfaction. And there are ways to measure customer satisfaction. It's not that I'm satisfied or not. There are ways of measuring it, which it's not my tonight's presentation, but I can talk about it in offline after hours. The third one is process improvements. We do have processes in any business, but in order to improve it, you have to, again, standardize it, you have to follow it. And I do believe any business, if you depend to an individual, to me, again, according to my books, it's not
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You have to have some processes in place that with or without me, the system works and you follow process. The last block is the actions that I'm going to talk about today. So there are 4 bullets in the bottom here, actions. 1, I'll talk about project management, 10 knowledge areas, very important. I'll talk about the project charter, 1-pager, and I'll talk about 3 constraints. I'm sorry, not done yet, if you can, please, thank you. So the 3 constraints of a project, and the last one is the 5 phases of a project, any project. So we can go to the next slide. I know it sounds busy, it looks busy, but it's important. So there are 10 elements in project management knowledge areas. I'll start in the top one. You need to have a scope. Scope management is important. Again, I'll touch on it when we come back, but just to move on with the next 5 slides. Time management, cost management, quality management, HR management, human resources, communication management, procurement management, risk management, stakeholder management, and integration management. So this circle, they're all tied together. So there are, just for you to take home, there are 10 knowledge areas of each project. Any size project, you're going to touch on these 10 areas. Even in our projects here in NEPOC, I was talking to the president, our Hanum, we agreed that you really need to have some standards, some processes behind our NEPOC activities, which I'll touch on at the end. I have a calendar of events, we'll talk about it. But again, it will touch all these 10 areas. Next slide, please. So 1-pager. I know project plan is huge. It can be a long plan. It depends on the project size, but you do need a charter. Any project, our picnic, our Sizdabedar, our Nowruz, our banners, we need to have a charter. And what charter means, To the left, you need to have a project manager. It doesn't have to be Homer. It can be an owner of picnic. Who owns this picnic? Who owns the banners? Who owns anything that we're doing in for NIPOC or our business? You need to have a business case, and you don't need to make it an essay of 10 pages or 20 pages. It can be one line. Simple, keep it simple so you can do it. So we do have a business case for SysDavidar. I'm using an example. You need to pre-assign resources. Us, Persian, we're all givers. We do give, we always offer. But again, I believe that until and unless my name is not there, I'm not gonna do it. So we need to pre-assign resources in any project in NIPOC or our small business, large businesses. You need to have sponsors and stakeholders for this project. And again, my example project upcoming is SysDavidar or Banners or Nowruz. Who are the sponsors? Who are the stakeholders? Who have benefit or they have they're stakeholders of this SysDavidar? What are the deliverables? They have to make a list to the right where it says content. They have to make sure we measure the objectives. There is something called SMART, S-M-A-R-T goals. It has to be specific, measurable, achievable. I will touch on it again. I'm not going to details. It's just one pager. You do need to have a project charter for any project. And then any project, any size, you will have some risks and issues. Next slide, please. My favorite, Babak, and I talked about it when I just met him a month ago. I'm new here. Look at this picture. So you will see 3 angles: scope, schedule, budget. Just remember 3 constraints: scope, schedule, budget. Anything we do at any given time, you need to have a scope for your project to define the features and functions of a product, of a work, or a work. It doesn't have to be a product, a work like SysDavidar. It's a work. You need to have a schedule. Project, it's all about start and end date. Our life is like a project. We're born in a day and we pass in a day. And we have a scope in life while since we're born till we pass, the scope is phases in life. We go to childhood, youth ages and get married, go to school. It's a scope. And then, trust me, everything, it's cost, it's budget. So we do have direct, indirect costs for any project, even in our life projects, right? Even your family projects, there is a budget behind it. Send the kids to school, buy them the car, this and that. So 3 points, remember: scope, schedule, budget. It's 3 main constraints to any project. Next slide, please. Very important. Yeah, I know I can talk about this for a good hour, but I'll keep it in a minute. The 5 phases of project management. You need to initiate a project. What do you want to do? Let's initiate it. Let's keep the stakeholders together. Let's bring a project manager. Who's the sponsor of this SysDavidar? We need to plan it. In planning, I do believe in WBS. What WBS is: work, breakdown, structure. Even it's a SysDavidar, it's a day, it will pass, but trust me, if we need to plan it, we have to make sure we break it down. And there are 10 different action items in planning for this small example of SysDavidar. So there are 10 people involved, and there is a cost behind it. So, and also there is a schedule. Remember the scope, schedule, and budget. So in planning, we have to have this work breakdown structure for SysDavidar or upcoming festival or anything we do. We need to assign people. Next to it, a cost, the budget of that line item, and the scope. What are you going to do? Put the banner up, take it down. That's the scope of your action. So planning is extremely important. Execution, it takes usually less time than planning. Planning takes time. Sometimes you plan, you do some execution project, then you come back and replan. That's normal. You revisit, you brainstorm with your project team. That's the beauty of project management. So you come back, it's not like I'm done. Someday you have to close it. You'll say, this is the plan, final plan to CEO. This is what we're going to do in the company, or to our president here. But when it comes to execution, you already have the work breakdown structure. There is no question about planning. You just do and do and do. That's execution. More important is monitoring and control. We have to come back and look at it. So what did go wrong? What went right? How can we improve? What is it that we have to control in our execution of the project? And then there is a closure. And I always celebrate in my projects. For last many years I've done it. Even a cup of tea, a small little pizza, it's a reward to your project team. You need to close the project. Don't say that is over. No. The very next day, very next meeting, you call that project team, put some donuts, coffee, just keep it simple. Doesn't have to be exaggeration, but close it. So that will give a reward to your team. I used to do this at the beginning of my project to the closure. And it's well worth it to go through these 5 phases. You will be very successful in your project. Next slide, please. Very busy. Don't read through it. This is, I asked Babak John that I have live experience, no exaggeration. 25 plus years, I have gone through many, many projects, different companies, from small companies to startups, small, large companies, multi-million-dollar, Philips Semiconductors in the Netherlands, and so on. And I've done many workshops. So it's not what I've done. The important is it's been all about project management. Anything I've done, if I've been successful, if I've been able to give a workshop, it's all about, again, scope, schedule, and budget. So, and the phases of initiating, planning, execution, monitoring, and closing. So what I'm trying to do to show you that my work experience I came to US since 1978 in San Jose. So anything I've done, anything, it's been based on an experience from my project management, and it helped me. So next slide. I'm going to close with team. I can't do it by myself. If anyone in this room or in Zoom says, I can do it, I would say, good luck to you. You're going to be back to square one next year. You're not going to expand. It's all about the team. Together, everyone achieves more. Let's keep this in mind. We're a team. No team, they're not going anywhere. So it's not about me, my picture. I just want to thank you for the opportunity, but I want to encourage you to work as a team. Next slide. So I'm done with my 10 minutes. I did a good job with project management, time management. So this slide, our new president, Bahar Khanum, she asked me to, of course, with Babak's help and Farzin, this is, by the way, it's a draft. Please don't it's not in black and white, it's not on stones. We can modify the dates. So what it is, NEPOC, for those are new like me, I want to see what's going on this year, right? And what happened last year. So at least I want to block my calendar, and I'm very calendaric, right? I do calendar my life, and I enjoy it. You get used to it, you'll enjoy it. So the point of this slide is, my presentation is over. I'm done with project management in 10 minutes. This is something for NEPOC. And before I close so we make a list of 12 months for 2022, and we just named some of the events that the NEPOC team, they experienced in last years working together. So dates may change, but again, see what I've done again? Scope, schedule, and budget. But I added an owner. But again, And ownership, the work breakdown structure, when we break down our example of 13 Bedar in April, or in Nowruz event in March, we need to have a budget. We do have a schedule, right? It just says March 20th. Again, it may change, but this is an example. This is a draft. We need to have a budget. We need to break it down what Nowruz takes. Some people, they're fluent. They just remember what happened last year. I'm not. I want to know, I know what Nowruz is. But the question is, what does it take for NIPOC to go to this Nowruz event? Some of us, we just memorize it. Like, yeah, we have to go get a park, DJ, blah, blah, blah. Break it down. Who's going to take the ownership of DJ? Hiring a DJ, paying a DJ. How much is a DJ? Then the board of director and a small group that we will assign to each event. It's not going to be done by board of director only. We're here to ask for volunteers, but we need to have names. If I take any of this project, I'll form my own smaller project team, and we will have a budget behind each action, and we will have the owner behind each action of our example, March Nowruz event. And you take this example anywhere. For festival, you can see summer picnic, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go through the line items, but definitely anything we do for Yalda or for whatever we've done, trust me, you need that scope, schedule, budget, and the owner to make it happen and make it a success. I'm done at this time. I can talk more, but again, I don't want to bore you. I just, my assignment was 10 minutes to give you a very high level overview of project management, but I'm available. I'm here. After this offline, I can sit. Yeah. So I'm done. If any questions, I think I'll stop at this point. You can ask questions. Yeah.
Good presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm sorry, is this Hamid?
Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
Salam.
Thank you. So I try to keep it short. I can talk a day because I love it. It's my passion. But I appreciate your attending and also your participating and always being a support to our NIPOC Board of Directors. Thank you. Okay, so anyone, any question?
Question on the screen before I read the screen. The question was, I read that before. Somebody put it on the screen that if somebody wants to start up being in a project management industry, what are the courses where they can start their education? That was the question.
That's a good question. So the question is, I'm going to repeat it. Someone asked that, so what does it take to become a project manager, or what are the steps we need to take to get there? Well, like anything else, like if you want to become a realtor, a real estate, you want to become an engineer, you want to start a construction business, right? So definitely you need to educate yourself, right? So you need to know everything about that business to understand. And first thing is, of course, they're not going to hire you because you're not hands-on. And so back to certification is the PMI Project Management Institute. It's well-known nationwide. That's like a starting point. But some people, like I said, I myself, let's say if I want to get my real estate license, now there are 3 books, you have to go learn about principles, it takes 3 months, so on and so forth. Beside that, my suggestion is get involved in live situations, like your cousin is doing a project. Just go shadowing, learn how a project goes. what is a live project on day-to-day basis? Any project, right? It's an engineering, it's a remodeling, it's construction, semiconductor, it doesn't matter. It's the Nowruz project. Join us. So you'll be participating and contributing to the project. But back to the question that is still on the table, I would suggest, yes, you have to get your certification. And if I remember right, it takes 8 to 12 weeks. So 2 to 3 months. It's like anything else. You go, there are books, you read it, or you can take crash courses. There are many avenues you can learn project. And nowadays, YouTube, Google, YouTube. Google it. So nowadays everything is handy. It's not like our times that you have to go buy a hard copy book and go to library and sit in Barnes and Nobles. You can do that, but also you can go online. But it needs discipline, right? Like everything else. If you are eager, if you are determined to have your certification on time, you have to put that 8 weeks or 12 weeks on your calendar. It's all about calendaring. Project is about calendar. So take that as a project. I'm going to study, let's say, 2 books from project management, the PMP, project management professionals, in order to get my certification by April, by May. Again, it's all about scope. You have a scope. You need to read 1 chapter a day or 1 chapter a week, depending. So that's your scope. So what's my schedule? I only have 8 weeks. Then apply for the certification. So that will take a few weeks for you to go for the exam. And if you learn your books like everything else, you'll get your certification. Hope that answered the question.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a question about one of the Zoom audience.
Right.
That I thought Carson could say it, but the other one that I have is, are you planning to set up a class for project management from NEPOC, or is that your future education for calendar? Maybe?
Yes, yeah, the short answer is yes. I would love to share my experience with our friends here in Orange County. That will be an honor for me. But unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for the people that they will attend, I'm very disciplined. It has to be on schedule. It can't be just, let's do it this week, let's not do it next month. It's not going to work. You'll stop. So that's a little bit conditional. I'm sorry, I'm very honest and upfront, but we can make a success. We can learn about project management in no time, and then you guys can go get your certification. So yes, again, the short answer is yes. That's a great idea. I would say anything we do in life is a project. Even at home, you can apply it at home. You can apply it to anywhere at work. So social activity, cultural activities. Let's do the project management, and I'm here to help. We can set up a once-a-week class here. I'm willing to attend in person or Zoom, but I'll go very structured.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure.
That was a good question. I have a follow-up. Is there any specific software that you planning to conduct during that training course, or for this NEPOC project, do you recommend any software to do so, or just without any software, because of the NEPOC's project is relatively small size,
Right.
We don't need any software to handle that? What do you think?
Good question, Amit John. So I'll answer it in 2 folds. I would suggest to start with, I usually keep things simple. I wouldn't suggest that people go buy a $200, $500, $1,000 software. Yes, there are softwares make your life easier, but that's only for a corporation. I shouldn't say only. Yes, you can use it for NEPOC. If you have the budget, we'll buy the software. But what I would suggest, in order to keep it simple and keep the interest there, instead of going through a software and learning about all this, we have to educate ourselves. So I usually use Microsoft Suite. Simple. Excel, PowerPoint, Word document, done. Excel, PowerPoint, Word document. You're done. You're a project manager. We can do it. We can do our project. The work breakdown structure that I mentioned, I can do it in an Excel, and we can work on that Excel, and everyone can have access. We can make traffic light out of it. Traffic light being what went right, green, what's in progress, yellow, what's completed, or I'm sorry, what we have issues or risk, red. So remember the traffic light. We can use all this in our Microsoft Suite, and we all have it in our laptops. But yes, definitely there is a software, yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.